Uncle Henry Show. Thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. You can also watch if you want to look at video of me standing in here, drinking coffee, trying to think of things, trying to reason through the world. The video available at the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. Yesterday on this show, during this hour of the show, around 7:40 yesterday, a longtime caller Cliff called into the show to report he had been watching, since my show wasn't on TV anymore, he had started watching Morning Joe on MSNBC with Joe and Mika, who you may be familiar with because President Trump has tweeted negatively about Joe and Mika. So yesterday, Cliff called in to report on what he saw on the Morning Joe show. I'm bringing it up because last night, the Morning Joe couple went on the CBS Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and Joe Scarborough, former Republican politician, announced that because of the president, because of President Trump, he's leaving the Republican Party.
How much of this country and our values are they willing to sell out?
But aren't you a Republican?
I am a Republican, but I'm not going to be a Republican anymore. I've got to become an independent.
You hear the crowd? Oh, the crowd is so excited. They're so excited. Somebody is leaving the Republican Party because of the president.
I'm not going to be a Republican anymore. I've got to become an independent.
Woo! This being attacked by the president is working out great for those two. There are more people watching them than ever before, I'm sure, because the president has attacked them. And now maybe that's what Joe Scarborough has smelled. He sniffed. He's sniffing the possibility of future higher ratings. And so he's gone on to national television to say that he's left the Republican Party, and to a cheering crowd. I wonder if other people will try to take this pathway to greater success. If you will have other people come out and try to leave the Republican Party so that they can have a crowd cheer them on. Now that he's left, though, how many people considered him one anyway? Well, congratulations to him. He's on his way to whatever success he'll find by renouncing the Republican Party. More in just a moment. Uncle Henry Show.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Porsche Traffic Center.
Delays on westbound I-10 across the Escambia Bay Bridge still look to be about 3 miles or so in length. The primary problem is some scheduled road work, which is blocking the right lane along most of the bridge. We also have a really big accident that's popped up in the Mobile area. This is Airport and Flav Pierce near Baker High School. Vehicle hit a power pole there. The intersection is closed at the present time. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
I'm Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. Your forecast calls for more storms, especially during the afternoon inland. We already have some along the coast this morning. Called a partly sunny and hot day with a high around 90. Mid-70s tonight with a slim chance of a storm, and then back into the low 90s on Thursday with a few more showers and storms. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. Every child is born with talents, hopes, and dreams, but poverty will steal those dreams. You can help a child find hope when you become their sponsor with Compassion International. Give a child a chance to dream again. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
This morning at 9, Ask the Expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Last night, Joe Scarborough of Morning Joe announced he was quitting the Republican Party because of President Trump, and he got wild cheering and applause on the Stephen Colbert Show. I think I'm going to put together a list of Republicans that I wish would leave the party. And we can play them that clip. Wouldn't that might be useful, even on the state level, to come up with a list of people that we'd like to see leave the Republican Party so that everybody can be happy. Let's talk to Freddie. Freddie, good morning.
Good morning to you, Uncle Henry. Would Luther Swain be at the top of your list? What I call for, Uncle Henry. This Donald Trump Jr. was raised by his mother, which is a Russian, for 20 years before his daddy took control of him, Uncle Henry. So the connection is there. The family got ties to the people in the Kremlin, Uncle Henry, and they trying to bring that idea to America, and they have succeeded.
So you're saying that Donald Trump Jr. is a Manchurian Candidate child. He was raised from infancy to be a Russian double agent by his Russian mama.
Close to that. You said it better than I could say it, Uncle Henry. That's for sure. And I want you back on television.
By the way, Donald Trump Jr.'s mother is Czechoslovakian.
Well, who are that close to, Uncle Henry? Who control that country?
Well, look, we're near Mississippi. Would you claim that my children are Mississippi double agents because we're close to Mississippi?
Not necessarily, but if you got that leaning, if you've been brought up under that system, Uncle Henry.
Donald Trump Jr.'s mother was an alternate on the Czechoslovakian ski team. She represented Czechoslovakia.
As a double agent, Uncle Henry.
All right, so let's remember this, audience. Freddie is telling us that Donald Trump Jr., raised as an infant by a Soviet-influenced beautiful woman, and then once he was raised up as a double agent, he was turned over to Donald Trump. What? Could it be possible that Donald Trump doesn't know that his son is a double agent?
Uncle Henry, why do you think that Mr. Trump, all of his wives are non-American females? Have you ever thought about that, Uncle Henry?
I have not. I've not thought, why does Donald Trump marry women? Where was Marla Maples from?
Well, he did not marry her.
Marla Maples was married to Donald Trump for 6 years. She was a lady from Georgia, not the country, but the state of Georgia.
That's close enough, Henry. That is very close. The guy's been asking me, why haven't I been communicating with you? And I get so silent, sick of it. I said, I'm letting him get his feet wet again. We're going to talk about building this bridge. Did you see Mo Brooks? He's been on television this morning, Henry.
I can't watch TV while I'm on the radio.
Well, you got this. When this deal is all boiled down, there are going to be a lot of Republicans headed to the hills, Uncle Henry, because they don't like what's going on.
Well, that's Joe Scarborough left the Republican Party. There's a long list of Republicans that probably ought to go ahead and just leave the Republican Party so that everybody can be happy. Freddie, thank you for your call about the Donald Trump Jr. double agent theory.
Take care of your skin. See Dr. Thomas Bender at Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. Dr. Bender sees patients in Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. Find out more online at advanceddermclinic.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he was able to make the crown for me while I waited. It was a same-day crown, no temporary crown, and it fit perfectly. Dr. Brown has a family-friendly practice. He offers a wide range of services, including cleanings, whitening, cosmetic bonding, the same-day crowns I just told you about, veneers, bridges, dentures, partials. He restores implants. If you're a new patient, you can get a new patient appointment within just a few days. Remember the name. It's H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. Call him at 251-342-5636. While his website is under construction, you can look for him on Facebook. Look for H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. Dentist on Facebook. If you want a good night's sleep, you need a great mattress, and you'll find better mattresses at lower prices at Sleep Center in Mobile and on the Eastern Shore. Listen to these Independence Day money-saving deals. Sealy has their Any Size event. Buy a mattress set, and you get any size at one low price. For example, the Sealy Plush. You can get that in any size, twin, full, queen, etc., at $199 each piece. And that's not all. You can save 10% on select Stearns & Foster mattresses with a free box spring, and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic's Tempur-Breeze sets. Incredible mattresses, the Tempur-Pedics. And ask about the terrific financing available at Sleep Center. Sleep Center in Mobile, in McGowan Park next to Verizon Wireless, and on Airport Boulevard in the Estrogue Shopping Center, and on the Eastern Shore in the Eastern Shore Center where Shoe Station used to be. You'll look at them online at sleepcenternow.net.
I'm Maeve Higgins, the comedian bringing you season 2 of a brilliant podcast from First Look Media, Maeve in America. It's immigration stories told by people who've lived them in conversation with me.
When you came to America, was anything different that you did not expect?
I think the thing that stuck out most is that I saw more white people than I thought I would see.
How did you find us?
People are people to me, and that definitely hasn't changed.
Search for Maeve in America on iHeartRadio now. That's Maeve, M-A-E-V-E, in America.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Delays on westbound I-10 across the Escambia Bay Bridge still look to be about 3 miles or so in length. The primary problem is some scheduled road work, which is blocking the right lane along most of the bridge. We also have a really big accident that's popped up in the Mobile area. This is Airport and Flav Pierce near Baker High School. Vehicle hit a power pole there. The intersection is closed at the present time. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. If you've enjoyed the past few days, well, you're in luck, as we're in for the same type of weather today. Expect isolated storms along the coast during the morning hours, giving way to scattered showers and storms across all of the area this afternoon as we climb to 90 for the high. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM, 99.5 FM The Jag. News headlines coming up in 10 minutes from Fox and from Local 15's Darwin. Let's talk to Joe. Hello, Joe. Good morning.
Hey, Uncle Henry. How are you today?
I'm good, Joe.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, I was listening to Freddie's call earlier, and I was, if I wasn't kind of giggling, it would almost make my head spin out of control. But I'll bet somewhere in his life, he may have had a drink of vodka. And the possibility there might be a bottle of vodka in his house made by a famous Russian manufacturer that begins with F. Therefore, I accuse him of being a double agent for the Russians, and I think he should be investigated.
You're accusing Freddie of being a double agent?
Absolutely. I think the vodka connection proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Wow. All right, well, look, I'll have to, next time Freddie calls in, I'm going to ask him about his connections to Russia.
It's just a theory, and right now, before the rumors start flying, the innuendo and the finger pointing, I want to admit along those same lines to being a double agent for the state of Kentucky and Tennessee.
Why? Because of you enjoy bourbons?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, Joe. Thank you, Joe. The shocking revelation. It's a shocking allegation about Freddie and a shocking revelation from Joe. However, as Joe Gomez pointed out about 30 minutes ago on this show, these headlines are very bombastic, and then once you get beyond the headlines, there isn't as much to it as was in the headline. So maybe there's not as much to the double agent thing. Let me quickly go to the email inbox. I've got an email about Freddie's call. If you missed Freddie's call in the last segment, he claimed that Donald Trump Jr.'s mother had been a former Soviet influenced person because she was Czechoslovakian, and she had raised Donald Trump Jr. as a double agent and then turned him over to his father. Let me go to the email inbox. Subject line on the email is Freddie call. Email reads, priceless. That one goes straight to his all-time top 5. A double agent, LOL, that's rich. And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley. Let's talk to Benjamin. Hello, Benjamin. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Uncle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hey, I'm hearing a lot about this Donald Trump Jr. thing, and a lot of people defending him and saying that, he didn't get anything out of it, so it's nothing there. But it seems to me like somebody robbing a bank, but they don't get any money. They're going to say, well, just forget about it then. I didn't do anything wrong because I didn't get any payoff from it. This boy sought to undermine the very fabric of this democracy.
So getting information on your opponent undermines the fabric of democracy.
It's who he was colluding with to try to get that information.
Or maybe attempted to collude.
Definitely.
All right, look, well, you sound very sincere due to your heavy breathing. And I can tell you are. So I appreciate your opinion, but I don't know that I don't know that it rises to the level of bank robbery or attempted bank robbery when you're trying to get information on a political opponent. That's almost kind of a naive attitude. Please go and review all of the dealings with the Clintons and Russia, and then come back to me and report on whether who is involved in something more shady. Thank you, Benjamin. I enjoy the fact that some people do listen to the show with even when they have breathing difficulties. Now, again, the theory, Freddie called in with the theory that Donald Trump Jr. is not just trying to collude with Russia, that he is some type of Soviet Manchurian candidate child.
What I call for, Henry, This Donald Trump Jr. was raised by his mother, which is a Russian, for 20 years before his daddy took control of him, Uncle Henry. So the connection is there.
Okay, so his mother, who now wasn't really technically a Russian, she was a Czechoslovakian, but Freddie feels that due to the Soviet influence, it's the same thing, that he was raised by a Soviet-influenced Ivana for 20 years being Manchurian candidated. Who knows what kind of programming and brainwashing went into it before he was then turned over to the father. Now, I don't know if Freddie, in a future call, let me know if you think Donald Trump was in on it or if this was done unsuspecting to Donald Trump. Freddie did throw out the theory that President Trump only wants to date and marry women from Soviet satellite countries, but I did see that he married a woman from Dalton, Georgia. Not Georgia the country, but Georgia as in next to Alabama. All right, who knows where we'll go next? News, traffic, weather, all of that next on the Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock futures are higher ahead of Fed Chair Janet Yellen appearing before Congress today. And investors will also watch for the beige book from the Fed, which looks at economic activity in the central bank's various districts. S&P futures are up about 4 points. Dow futures are up 28. NYMEX crude is up 1.4% at $45.66 a barrel. The Energy Information Administration said U.S. oil production will average 9.9 million barrels a day next year, 110,000 barrels less than last month's estimate. Long known for squeezing its vast network of suppliers, Walmart is about to step up the pressure. The focus this time is delivery scheduling. Being early or late will earn a fine. Being on time but having goods not packed properly would also earn a fine. The program is labeled On Time in Full. It aims to add $1 billion to revenue by improving product availability at stores, according to slides from a presentation obtained by Bloomberg. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Uncle Henry here. If you want to sell your home, if you need to sell your home, let me introduce you to my real estate agent, Sandy Frost of Roberts Brothers. Sandy has a true passion for helping people sell their home.
I've been doing this since 1992. I tell people that when you do what you love to do every day, which is helping people achieve their dreams and their goals, then it's not a job.
And Sandy can help you achieve your dreams and goals. Her listings sell faster than the average agent's listings. She sells 97% of her listings when the average agent doesn't come close to that, and her listings sell at about 3% more than other agents' listings. Sandy has used her years of experience to develop an exclusive 32-step home marketing plan that works. You can find out more details at sandyfrost.com or call Sandy Frost at 251-604-6514.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
As the wet weather continues to push through the area, most of our attention has been in the Pensacola area this morning. Still seeing some backup on westbound I-10 a bit past Avalon Boulevard due to an accident there on the side of the road. But the bigger problem is further ahead. Road work on the Escambia Bay Bridge affecting the right side of the roadway, still prompting a delay of several miles across the bridge there. And we also have a crash in front of Baker High School Airport in Flav Pierce. That's where a vehicle hit a traffic light post. I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Gemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Hello and happy Wednesday. We've got similar weather to what we had on both Monday and Tuesday. What exactly is that? Well, a few storms along the coast during the morning hours, giving way to scattered, if not numerous, storms farther inland as the day progresses. We'll go for a high today of 90, 75 tonight, low 90s tomorrow with a few more storms. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
A building boom for Baldwin County schools. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeart Radio News Update. New schools may be on the way in Baldwin County as a multi-million-dollar school construction plan could start next year. The move forward is part of a compromise plan between the county and the school system to borrow money against the projected penny sales tax revenue. Next question, where will the new schools be built? The plan is calling for 7 school projects, which includes up to 2 new schools in the first 4-year phase. The superintendent will present a more detailed construction plan to the school board next Tuesday. A former Pritchard police officer going to federal prison, Richard Goldham, pleaded guilty to 2 firearms charges in December. He's been in trouble a few times before, accused of attacking his neighbor and impersonating a peace officer. AP reports Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant is warning people not to remove debris from the area where a Marine Corps plane crashed. Bryant said in a statement Tuesday on Twitter that law enforcement authorities have received reports that items are being taken from the crash site. Debris from the KC-130 that crashed Monday is scattered for miles. The governor warns that anyone taking something could be prosecuted. A senior at the University of South Alabama is set to compete in a prestigious international competition. Peter Corman is making history this year as the only American chosen for his division. In just a few days, he'll head to the Czech Republic to compete in the international competition. Corman has a GoFundMe account set up to cover travel and equipment, and we have a link at local15tv.com. Pritchard police call them hotspots, places in the city where crime is more likely to flare up, and it does when Local 15's Jasmine Williams rides with officers determined to snuff them out. It's a revealing Local 15 reality check, and you can see it tomorrow morning at 5:44 and 6:44 only on Local 15 today. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton for this iHeart radio station.
And good morning, Facebook people. Here we are. We're still in the news break, back on the radio in just a few minutes with more Uncle Henry Show. Here's a headline that I haven't clicked on. 5 live king cobras found in mail at JFK Airport. Why do people want to own a cobra? Isn't that a legitimate question? Why would you want to own a cobra? Why would you want to own any venomous snake? Now, I probably will offend you here by saying that I don't want to own any snake. I don't even want a non-venomous snake. I don't want to own a snake. I don't understand the attraction of snake ownership. What you get out of it. I think it's odd when people put birds on their shoulders. Ariel, have you ever seen somebody that has a bird on their shoulder in real life? Somebody on the Eastern Shore would walk around, you'd see them with a bird on their shoulder, and they would even drive. You'd be at a red light and look over and see somebody with a bird on their shoulder as they're driving around. I don't like that. I don't want to wear a snake around my neck. Some people get a snake, they own it, and then they sit around as, I guess, to relax, they put a snake around on their shoulders. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. Years ago, somebody working here, they don't work here anymore, but somebody working here held a party at their house, and a lot of us went over to their house, and it was a wonderful evening. It really was. But then there was the shock moment where they brought out the snake. It was a shock because we had worked with this person for many years and didn't know that they had a big snake in their house. It changed my perception of that person. Not negatively, but it did change how I perceived them. They have the capacity mentally to own a giant snake. All right, look, stand by. We're going back to radio.
Delivery up to 50 miles. Why go anywhere else? Just look for the Giant Liberty Safe at exit 5B, I-65 and Moffett in Mobile. Call 471-1137.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show arriving now at the Daily Reagan. The Daily Reagan is a presentation of SAD Healthcare, SAAD. SADhealthcare.com is the website. In previous segments of the show, we've had people calling in accusing Donald Trump Jr. of colluding with Russia, accusing Donald Trump Jr. of being a double agent Manchurian candidate raised by a Czechoslovakian. So for the Daily Reagan, here's a clip of President Reagan colluding with Russian students. He's colluding and talking with a group of Russian students.
You know, one of the first contacts between your country and mine took place between Russian and American explorers. The Americans were members of Cook's last voyage on an expedition searching for an Arctic passage. On the island of Unalaska, they came upon the Russians, who took them in, and together with the native inhabitants, held a prayer service on the ice. The explorers of the modern era are the entrepreneurs, men with vision, with the courage to take risks and faith enough to brave the unknown. These entrepreneurs and their small enterprises are responsible for almost all the economic growth in the United States. They are the prime movers of the technological revolution. In fact, one of the largest personal computer firms in the United States was started by two college students, no older than you, in the garage behind their home. Some people, even in my own country, look at the riot of experiment that is the free market and see only waste. What of all the entrepreneurs that fail? Well, many do, particularly the successful ones, often several times. And if you ask them the secret of their success, they'll tell you it's all that they learned in their struggles along the way. Yes, it's what they learned from failing, like an athlete in competition or a scholar in pursuit of the truth. Experience is the greatest teacher. And that's why it's so hard for government planners, no matter how sophisticated, to ever substitute for millions of individuals working night and day to make their dreams come true.
The Daily Reagan, that was President Reagan talking to some Russian students. You may have seen that as colluding, I don't know. Sounded like teaching. The Daily Reagan, a presentation of SAD Healthcare, SAAD, SADhealthcare.com. Always wonderful to have a little bit of Ronald Reagan to calm me down, especially after today's explosive accusations launched by Freddie against Donald Trump Jr. We have a lot more to get to as we continue here on the Uncle Henry Show. Later, in about 10 minutes, Darwin of Local 15. We'll check in with him and find out what's up with Darwin, and that's coming up later on the Uncle Henry Show.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
The road work has finally been cleared out of the roadway westbound I-10 across the Escambia Bay Bridge. You do have 2 lanes of traffic back open all the way across, so better news there. We're still seeing several miles of backup, which should now start to improve, but it may be a while before life returns to normal there. Also, a big accident in Mobile that's been on the board for a while. Vehicle hit a power pole, knocked it down on the roadway at Airport and Flav Pierce near Baker High School. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Now, Gulf Coast weather from Local 15.
I'm Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. Your forecast calls for more storms, especially during the afternoon inland. We already have some along the coast this morning. Called a partly sunny and hot day with a high around 90. Mid-70s tonight with a slim chance of a storm, and then back into the low 90s on Thursday with a few more showers and storms. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. We'll talk with Darwin in about 10 minutes from Local 15. Right now, Angelo's here, Mobile Bay Coins. Spent a lot of time with Angelo yesterday on Amazon Prime Day. Angelo, I found a website that was putting up the worst of Amazon Prime Day. And one of the things I saw was a $2 bill, 22 karat gold layered, that was special deal on Amazon Prime Day for $15.96. The people claim that only a tiny fraction of all $2 bills have been set aside for this special 22 karat gold plated edition of the $2 bill.
Well, and that's a true statement, Uncle Henry. And again, it ties in really well with Darwin's story yesterday and our discussion there in the morning at the shop of, things that are misleading and potentially scams. This is something that has been manufactured and created not by the United States Mint. I don't know if you noticed, but the name of the company, the name of the business, had the word mint in their name.
You're absolutely right, yes.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I think it had America in there as well. So if you're a novice and you're reading that, you're thinking you're ordering from the American Mint. Well, first of all, it's the Bureau of Engraving and Printing that does paper money. Second of all, it's a small number of these that are being done this way because this company bought these. They're now basically printing this gold foil, this gold layering on that, and then turning around and reselling them. It would be no different, Uncle Henry, than if you were dealing with a marketing company here in town and put an Uncle Henry sticker on a $2 bill and sold those to your customers and said a limited number of these are being manufactured. It's an aftermarket manufactured item. It is not a collectible piece. The darn thing is worth $2, and they are ripping people off.
Yeah, when people see that something is gold layered, they think it has additional value. But I just want to be clear before we move on from this topic. It's a $2 bill that they've put a little bit of 22 karat gold on it, and they're selling it for $16. But it's not. Right. There's not $16 worth of gold or $14 worth of gold added to it.
No, exactly. As a matter of fact, if you took the gold off of that bill and tried to weigh it or measure it, the likelihood is that there's not enough gold on one bill for you to even be able to measure it with a normal scale. You would have to have a huge number of those and usually destroy the bills to try to get the gold off, and you're going to find out you've lost more money by destroying the bills than what you would have got out of the gold that it's covered with.
Okay. Well, I had to share that with you, Angelo, after we had the discussion yesterday on both scams and also Amazon Prime Day. That was just one. There were, I'm sure, a lot of great deals available. That was just one that was singled out as a weird one. Mobile Bay Coins. We've talked a lot yesterday about Mobile Bay Coins on the show. I had a caller this morning that was excited about the Opinel knives. Somebody that doesn't actually, apparently had not heard us talk for months and months about Opinel knives. But one of the things the caller mentioned to me is that they're easy to sharpen.
Well, they certainly are. And as a matter of fact, not only are they easy to sharpen, but they hold an edge really well as well. I know you've actually been using a set of Opinel knives in your kitchen for quite some time now, and I meant to ask you, because I was listening to that caller, have you had a need to sharpen those yet, or have they been holding up just fine?
No, I haven't. Of course not. Absolutely. They're great knives. But just want to mention that you can get all these wonderful Opinel knives at Mobile Bay Coins. We're almost out of time here, Angelo, but Opinel knives, coins, jewelry, all of that at Mobile Bay Coins. Angelo, have a great day.
You too, sir.
Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown. Look for Mobile Bay Coins on Facebook.
The Glenn Beck program introduces a new eve.
The eve of global war.
Celebrate with your family and friends. Today at 5, News Radio 710, WNTM.
If you've been waiting to buy a new RV, now is the time to go get one at RVs Unlimited. Here's Jeremy and Ed Strickler.
It is time for the 2018s already in the RV industry. They come out a little sooner than the cars do in the fall, so the 17s have to go. And we would love to find them a good home, and we are offering a 25% discount on all the remaining 17 models on the lot. So this is the best savings of the year right now.
And some as much as 40% off.
Yeah, and 25% is the starting point. We have some as much as 40% off.
So great deals on new RVs and on pre-owned RVs at RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale. Remember, they don't play games with you. There's no haggling at RVs Unlimited, and they don't tack on hidden dealer fees at the end of the transaction. These are people that make customer service a specialty. RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale. You'll find out more information online at rvsunlimited.com.
Bluebell ice cream is a spoonful of smiles, a bowl full of celebration, and 2 scoops of down-home optimism. It's a birthday party's grand finale, a first date's icebreaker, and a second trimester's persistent craving. Bluebell is a soft landing from a hard day, a team celebrating a win or erasing a loss. Some say Bluebell is the best ice cream in the country. Like our original gold-rimmed homemade vanilla, the country's gold standard of ice cream flavors since 1969. Its hand-cranked taste takes you back to simpler times. That's why we put the word home right on the cart.
Try Bluebell's most popular flavor, homemade vanilla. A rich, homemade tasting vanilla ice cream with a special hand-cranked flavor that takes you back to the good old days. Pick up some today.
Does your patio furniture need a makeover? Are you tired of uncomfortable, low-quality furniture on the deck? Then come see Coastal Patio Warehouse during the summer clearance event going on now. Specializing in commercial and residential patio furniture. You'll find them on Lakeside Drive in Mobile, between Cottage Hill and Highway 90, less than 1 mile from I-65. Their warehouse showroom has the largest patio selection on the Gulf Coast. They manufacture frames and cushions right here in Mobile, so they can sell at the very best price to you. See coastalpatiowarehouse.com and at 751 Lakeside Drive.
Let me surprise you with an interesting fact. You ready? Of all the media options today, AM/FM radio reaches the most people each week. Yeah, you heard me right. Radio is the leader. AM/FM. 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio every week. That's bigger than TV, newspapers, even Google and Facebook. If you're a marketer and you need to improve your plans, remember, radio.
Do you have the worst boss in the world? Are you the worst boss in the world? I'm Kim Scott.
And I'm Russ Laraway. And together we host Radical Candor, a podcast from Panoply and Gretchen Rubin's Onward Project about how not to hate the boss you have or be the boss you hate.
In each episode, we share cringe-worthy stories and offer concrete tips you can put into practice today. Listen for free by searching for Radical Candor on iHeartRadio now.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Volvo Traffic Center.
The road work has finally been cleared out of the roadway westbound I-10 across the Escambia Bay Bridge. You do have 2 lanes of traffic back open all the way across, so better news there. We're still seeing several miles of backup, which should now start to improve, but it may be a while before life returns to normal there. Also, a big accident in Mobile that's been on the board for a while. Vehicle hit a power pole, knocked it down on the roadway at Airport and Flav Pierce near Baker High School. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News. If you've enjoyed the past few days, well, you're in luck as we're in for the same type of weather today. Expect isolated storms along the coast during the morning hours, giving way to scattered showers and storms across all of the area this afternoon as we climb to 90 for the high. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for this iHeart radio station.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. We've got news from Fox News from Local 15's Darwin coming up in about 10 minutes. Speaking of Darwin, he's with us now. Darwin, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. How are you this morning?
Fantastic. There's a few things I wanted to ask you about that I know you're covering in the news, but I wanted to start by asking you about the police ride-along. Now, is that something that you're going to show tomorrow morning on your show?
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, actually, that is one of our reality checks, and we know that Pritchard is patrolling what's called hot spots. And those are areas where they've seen high crime, and they've been adding some extra patrols, doing some more intensive patrol, and maybe seeing if they can make some arrests in those areas. So we put Jasmine Williams, one of our reporters, in a police car with them and sent her out. And it just so happens it was a crazy, wild ride that gives you a really good idea of what this effort is like, what the police face, and what the community's dealing with. So that's coming up tomorrow morning at 5:44 and 6:44 in the morning on Local 15 Today.
You've been a reporter for a long time. Have you ever been along with the police for a ride-along?
When I first came down here back in the late 80s, and I worked for another station in town, I did that pretty much out of the gate. And it was one of the most memorable experiences that I've had. I can still remember it to this day. I remember also riding undercover in vans and an officer hitting the brakes and then me practically rolling inside the van up to the front seat. All kinds of experiences that we don't get a chance to do that much anymore. So it's kind of exciting when you see it happen.
Well, it is. It gives a lot of insight into what it's like to do that job. Just the whole the factor of the unknown. You never know when one situation can completely turn into a different situation.
Well, you think of these officers that walk up to a car. They do. I'm driving to work at 3 a.m. in the morning, and you see an officer pulled over with a car. There's a car that the driver, maybe they're tipsy or something. But you think about it, you're walking up to a car with dark windows, someone inside. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they have in the car. And you have to make contact with that person. That is a frightening situation for the layman. Now, they're trained, but still, like you say, the great unknown. You don't know when a situation is going to turn.
Okay, so that reality check tomorrow morning in the 5 and 6 o'clock hours on Local 15 with Darwin. I also noticed you were covering the Amazon sortation center. This thing it's going to be up and running a lot sooner than I thought it would be.
Yes, for sure in October. We're going to be having some of those jobs posted as it gets closer, hourly workers just before they open. Right now they got some managerial positions open. So, yeah, we're on the cusp of that. Something else I want to tell you about, Uncle Henry, that happened during our newscast this morning. It's just so fresh we haven't even had a chance to really tell you about it, but I want to tell you about it now. We had a jet skier, 17-year-old, go missing from the Eastern Shore last night. He called and said that his jet ski was grounded around 8 or 9 last night. And he's been out in the bay, south of the Bayway, for most of the night, all of the night, because he was rescued. We found out about it with the Coast Guard, during our newscast, but by the time the newscast was over, he had been located, he's fine, and he's been reunited with his family at the Fairhope Pier this morning. But he spent the night on his jet ski in the bay on a little island where he got grounded, I guess, at low tide last night. Luckily, he was wearing his life jacket, but, of course, we start thinking about those big toothy grins on those gators and going, I wonder if he was plagued by those last night.
Yeah, well,
Maybe we'll find out today.
Yeah, that's a great happy ending to that. I can just imagine what the family was thinking. What a rough night that was for the family.
Well, we had that jet ski accident over in parts of Florida. I forget which community it was. I think it might have been Port St. Joe. That's right, where a kid from the area here was run over by a boat after he fell off a jet ski. So, that's been on everybody's minds. And then this happened, and we're thinking, geez, hopefully we don't have another sad story to report. But thank goodness he's okay. No injuries. He's fine. And he was smart enough to wear his life jacket and smart enough to call for help last night.
Terrific. Well, Darwin, thank you so much for the update. Great talking to you.
Absolutely. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you, Darwin of Local 15. In fact, we have news headlines from Darwin coming up in just a moment here on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM, The Jag. And tomorrow morning, they'll be doing the ride-along, police ride-along in Pritchard that you'll be able to see on Local 15. And if you're not able to watch it tomorrow morning, the video will be available on their website afterwards. I just, that's, as Darwin was pointing out, you never know what you're going to encounter. And you never know, it may look like one type of situation and turn into something completely different once you're involved. So I'm very curious as to seeing how that whole ride-along went. He said that it was a wild night. Let's see, before we go into the news, we will have a bit more on Donald Trump Jr., the reaction to Donald Trump Jr. releasing the email chain yesterday, and just lots of reaction last night. And also on this show, we had Freddie call in earlier this hour and claim that Donald Trump Jr. is working with the Russians, that he was raised, I guess, to be a Manchurian candidate.
What I call for, Henry, this Donald Trump Jr. was raised by his mother, which is a Russian, for 20 years before his daddy took control of him after Henry. So the connection is there.
So his mother, Ivana, Czechoslovakian, but because of the Soviet influence, Freddie believes that Donald Trump Jr. actually raised by a Russian-influenced woman to be a double agent. That is the Freddie theory on what is going on here. There's much more to come. News, traffic, weather, all of that next, and then another hour of Uncle Henry Show.